All right, everybody, hello and welcome. You are here for How to Build AI Skills for Your Career, the holiday edition. It is Thanksgiving for those of us here in the United States and the Western Hemisphere this week. And so I wanted to do this special holiday edition of our AI webinar, just so we can talk a little bit about what AI skills you can take into this holiday season, mostly for your career, but otherwise to be able to just share with those that you're spending time with this year. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of time around computers, a lot of time around electronics. And you know what? You can be the person that at least shows off some of the skills that are available that you can use as a part of your really just holiday gatherings because we all know how much AI is probably going to come up. Before I get started, feel free to use the webinar chat as a means to network with one another. Let us know where you're dialing in from. Share with us your LinkedIn profile. And we've also got a poll going on that I'm going to just let go for a little bit here on how do you feel about your AI skills, whether you're a novice, somewhat experienced, proficient, or if you're an expert. I'll just say if you're somebody who is an expert, you probably will not get that much from this webinar, although maybe I'll share a few things that might be new. If you're somebody who's completely new or somewhat experienced, I do hope that, and I do believe that I do have something for you here, especially as we look at all the various skills that we teach. A little bit about me, I'm a product marketer and job search guy, founder of Albert's List, a community with 50,700 members, where people have found jobs at various Fortune 500 companies, startups, and more. My LinkedIn is down to the bottom right, so feel free to connect with me, message me, let's talk AI, let's talk everything that you have. Um, and there I am with the Santa hat at the top corner. I know it's not even Thanksgiving yet, and I'm putting up Christmas hats. I'll have to ask for your forgiveness when it comes to that. Albert's List, as we mentioned, is a community of 50,700 members. We have recruiters, job seekers, hiring managers, and more. And what we do as a company is, yes, I know, Joshua, a little too early. What we do as a company is that we run job search and entrepreneurship bootcamp programs that drive career success. We're here to teach you AI. We're here to teach you how to build a side hustle. We're here to teach you how to job search and hopefully sometimes bring all three together because we want you to become the most resilient professional possible. The QR code is up there in the middle, so if you want to go ahead and type that URL in or point your phone to it on your computer from your home office, wherever you may be, feel free to take a look at that. So here's a little bit of our agenda today, right? We talk a little bit about this every single month. We give you a little bit of an overview of AI, how AI is impacting work, how you can use it, how you can take action, and then we demo a few fun things along the way that can help you there. Hey, Michael, good to have you here. And so today we have a little bit of an overview. And so what are we going to talk about here, right? The first thing I really want to go through, as we usually do, is we want to talk about where AI has been, where AI is now, and then where AI is eventually going. Because I think it is really important to differentiate between all of these things. Thank you, Christopher. Yes, I got a haircut and I'm headed to an event after this, so I'm glad you think it makes me look younger. Wonderful. So let's talk a little bit about where AI has been, right? We talk about how AI is just so nuanced and so different in this sense, but the truth of the reality is that AI has always been around us. And so the AI that we all know as of today is this kind of AI that focuses on being able to spot trends and spot patterns. And these have been really not so much patterns from what has existed in the past that we see in generative AI. It's really what we see in terms of, I would say, spotting. So, for example, many of us have maybe had our credit card and we're in New Zealand today. Thank you, Grant. Kia ora to you as well. Maybe we're in New Zealand today, and all of a sudden, the very next day, we have found ourselves in Singapore. We may have found ourselves in San Francisco. Our bank sends us a message that says your credit card has been temporarily deactivated because we think that you are making somebody is making scam transactions with your credit card. And in that situation, one thing to just note is that that's traditional AI, spotting the usual patterns and making responses based on that. Another one might be your usage of your Amazon app. Oh, you will get a recording of this event, by the way. You can also screen grab, do both, so that we can get that to you on time. Um, The other bit of traditional AI that's spotting is what you do with your e-commerce app. So, for example, you might have used Amazon in the last 20 years and maybe bought yourself a water bottle, bought yourself a t-shirt, and then Amazon realizes that maybe you really like t-shirts or you really like water bottles, and so they send you things that are related to those items. And so that's very much traditional AI. Then we move into today with generative AI. Generative AI is now this big subset of AI that we've begun to notice. And this is a focus on existing data to create new data, which I call creation, right? So any of us have used ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini, Grok. If you haven't, please feel free to use that. Please feel free to let me know in the webinar chat and what's kept you from actually going down that route. But mostly, right, generative AI is where we're kind of at today. It's something that's been really taken the world by storm over the last 3 years. Where maybe you type into ChatGPT that you would like to hear, that you would like a song, I don't know, something like a Taylor Swift song, but sung about your dishwasher, right? And so ChatGPT can do that. Or it can help you now code, or it can help you create websites. And we'll do a little bit of that example building a little bit later. Now, the next thing that we're coming up to is what we call agentic AI, and that's what I call using AI to take action, also known as doing. And so there's a few things here that have popped up in the last couple of months. ChatGPT now has agents that can search for you on your website and do things for you. N8N, which is something that I've become very, very interested in over the last couple of months, is also very compelling to me because it brings about the ability to take various APIs and various things and create triggers that help you build out things that you share with other people. We'll talk a little bit about N8N here in a moment. We'll also do Zapier. A lot of this technology is becoming exciting, and agentic AI may be the most interesting because it takes the power out of maybe somebody that you would want to hire and gives it to an agent to do that work on your behalf. So, for example, if you're headed out on a vacation to San Francisco, you may eventually have AI booking that entire vacation for you instead of you booking for that vacation one by one in every single place. And so, where does generative AI and agentic AI fit within this whole entire map of AI? Um, this is kind of a diagram that I've been using over the last couple webinars because I think it's important to show you just even despite how big generative and agentic AI have been with sucking the oxygen out of the room, it's important to know that generative AI is still a much smaller part of a much larger piece of the pie that includes things such as robotic systems, neuroscience, quantum computing, and so much more as we try to create a world where AI controls much of everything. And it's going to be a world where you wake up in the morning and AI already has your breakfast figured out for you, and it already connects to every single thing that you have around the house and every single thing that you have at work. So it's quite fascinating how that all works. And so how AI has generally traditionally worked is that it takes in inputs, and that's usually been data. And for a lot of generative AI, it's a lot of data from around the internet. It's interesting how over the last 30 years, the internet has gone from a place that's been very niche to a place where a lot of people write and create a lot of things. And so generative AI takes a lot of that, places into some machine learning models and neural networks and expert systems and processes that data and then gives you some of that outcome so that even though you may not be able to come up with lyrics, you're able to do a lot of singing. You're able to create like new lyrics that you can sing to, or create new images that you can share with others. And so, ethical issues aside, that's kind of what AI has given us the power to do. The next piece I want to talk about is how AI is impacting work, right? And so we all think a little bit about how this is going because we've seen a lot of conversations around where AI has been and what AI can impact. And there's a lot of data that is now coming out to show where exactly that is really making a dent. And so you'll probably seen some of these charts at some point here. Jobs likely to disappear in a couple of years because of AI. What do these include? These are everything from proofreaders to fast food order takers to warehouse workers. We saw that Amazon is looking to probably not hire 600,000 people over the next few years because of the ability for robotics to take over. There may be a day where you talk to a customer service representative who is assisting you on what it is that you're trying to do, and it's using generative AI to start that conversation. I know for a local a local Jiffy Lube here in Paso Robles. When went to go make an appointment, it was generative AI that was asking me questions. And they have implemented a generative AI platform on their end because it saves them from having to take phone calls and they can focus more on helping out customers day to day. And so, how is AI affecting us? Right. So, there's two charts here that I want to show. One is the share of U.S. job openings versus the growth of the S&P 500. And so, one thing that's been really particularly fascinating to me over the last couple of years, and really a pattern that we see, and I can go ahead and move this around here, is that the blue line here is the unemployment. Is the amount of job openings rather that are available at any given time here in the United States. And this could be similar to your country, especially if you're from another country as well watching this webinar today. And it's been correlated to the S&P 500, which is a major stock index here in the United States. And you can see over the last 20 to 24, 23 years, the way that the S&P 500 moves and the way that the job openings move tends to have matched each and every one another. But then, starting from about December 1st of 2022, you'll notice that this has completely flipped on its side, right? You see that job openings have decreased significantly, but AI, or rather the S&P 500, has gone up by a lot because AI has really become a part of what a lot of these companies are doing. And so that's just one slice of that where companies are now realizing that there's a lot of increased value with AI coming into the fold. And then on the other side, you're also seeing American job cuts, right? And so maybe this is happening in your country too, but here in the United States, we're also seeing a significant number of cuts. And we saw a lot of job cuts in the month of October. And we've seen everything from technology, government, warehousing, all the way down to the legal profession. And so AI is having a potential impact with it. And it's also with a lot of government efficiency layoffs as well coming out from the US federal government. And so there's a lot of concern about whether this is a short term trend or whether it's something that's becoming much more longer term and creating and inflicting a lot of pain on the US economy. And so it does correlate because there's a lot of stuff going on right now that does show that things are really tough. And so one of them is that college graduates are facing one of the toughest job markets in a decade. You're seeing employment that is dropping. You're seeing that there's an executive order to launch AI platforms to really accelerate where AI is going. And then there's also concerns about an AI bubble, right? And so you're looking at potentially damaging consequences for all the spending that we've seen in AI, but also for new college grads who are finding it tough to find that next job opportunity and are wondering if that college degree really made sense for them or not. And right, so we've had a couple of new things that have come out lately that I think really just kind of continue perpetuating this. And ChatGPT 5.1 I've been using because I use ChatGPT a lot, and Gemini 3 are the most recent ones that just came out. I myself have not touched Gemini 3 yet because I was at a conference last week, and so that's something that I want to check out, especially with Google Veo and so forth. Joshua writes, I'm building a business that uses AI to make existing workflows more efficient, not to be the star of the show. For example, in my case, it helps turn complicated information into simpler, clearer terms, clearer content for employees and HR teams. My view is that AI is the main product. The story won't succeed right now. There's too much hype, fear, and confusion, but AI is a quiet engine in the background and can absolutely cut time, reduce busy work, and make communication better. Joshua, you're very right about that. And I don't know if you're experimenting with N8N workflows in your world, but that's something that I've been thinking about a lot over in what I've been working on when it comes to the various things that I do with Albert's List, my girlfriend's nonprofit, and my day-to-day work that I have. And so N8N workflows, Zapier are all very fascinating as it comes to the kind of work that I do. But going back to that, right, we also want to talk a little bit about the AI bubble. I think that that's also been a concern for a lot of folks In particular, as you see that on this left-hand side, you have a lot of companies that just pay each other in computing power, in chips, and so forth. And so Oracle is buying from NVIDIA, who is giving OpenAI money to buy chip, who is investing in OpenAI, who in turns buy chips from them, and then OpenAI is giving computing power to Oracle, and so forth. And so this creates a sort of circle jerk of investment that's been going on. And so as you can also see, the accumulation of capital and so forth that we're seeing with AI has also led to really immense GDP growth, or at least anticipated GDP growth, with all the various data centers and so forth that are looking to be built and such. And so it's really created a very interesting market and a very potentially like dangerous boom where a lot of people are looking at memory chip shortages. Other companies are just wondering whether they can even innovate. In other places, you're seeing situations or rather you're seeing an overall situation where OpenAI has now invested over $1 trillion into AI infrastructure, but they've made maybe several, tens and twenties of billions of dollars back. And so they're going to have to find a way to continue growing, and they're going to also have to continue to find a way to continue closing that gap. And at the center of all that too is is also an energy issue, right? So AI requires a lot of water, a lot of electricity to work, more so than the traditional data centers have. And so you're getting to a point where a lot of companies are building data centers near neighborhoods and so forth, and this is creating concern about individuals who can no longer pay their electric bill or their water bill like they used to because things have changed so much. But wherever AI goes, one thing that I've been saying really since the beginning of this year and since the end of late last year is that it's not about necessarily hitting the moon, but landing somewhere in the stars. And so at the end of the day, your job may not be lost to AI, but somebody who knows how to use it. It's going to possibly eliminate a lot of jobs, depending on how we go with the energy issue, depending on how we go, whether these companies can actually break even. But we're also seeing the US government, and maybe your government as well, depending on where you are in the world, invest significantly in AI. And so it's going to lead to a lot of new businesses. It's going to lead to a lot of new skills that you're going to have to learn and adjustments that you have to make. And so it's gonna be really interesting at that level. Rakshan asks, would AI eliminate a lot of jobs? Right. So if you go back to one of the earlier slides that we had here, that looked at the jobs most likely to disappear in 2 years because of AI, I would say that there's going to be at least an attempt to try and eliminate these jobs in a couple of years because companies are obviously in the business of making more money, and they're not necessarily in the business of trying to employ as many people as possible. We're seeing very much this early vision where you can be one individual who owns a company, and you can have an AI handle much of the day-to-day operation that you have. And while you still need to work in the business, a lot of the things AI can also handle because it gets close to what it is, what an employee used to work on. So let's talk a little bit about how to use AI, right? And so the thing about this is that it's always interesting is it really depends on what you need it for. I think that as I look to what AI was at the beginning, right, we all saw it as a very fun thing where you could create fun images. There's always that Will Smith video of him eating noodles and pasta, and that video quality has improved over the years to just really show how AI has done a lot better. But you can use it for everything from writing emails to planning vacations, being creative, strategizing your business, identifying a disease, attending meetings. I think there was somebody here on fireflies.ai that was having them attend this webinar on their behalf, editing videos, creating YouTube shorts, and so much more. And so you have to think about your day-to-day tasks, right? If there's anything that I encourage you to do during the course of this webinar, is I encourage you to write down a notebook wherever you take notes, and just think about your repeated tasks every single day that you realize that you need to do that maybe could be automated by AI or at least outsourced in some kind of fashion that'll allow you to do that quicker. And that's, what we do as professionals. It's what we do as entrepreneurs. If you're, no matter which category you're in, you're probably looking at ways to be more efficient. So ultimately, you can go home and spend more time with your family or kids, or spend more time doing the things that you want to do. And so, at the very, very center and heart of AI, and this is really important for those who are the novices, is an introduction to AI prompting and being able to enter a good prompt. And I call a prompt is when a user enters a request into a generative AI platform, giving that platform a command to do something, and hopefully being as specific as possible. And prompting comes in two formats. One is zero-shot prompting, where you don't give any context and it's great for general knowledge, or multi-shot prompting, where you want a few relevant examples or you want to find a way to get to an answer at the very, very end. So you can write, for example, describe a coffee mug, or you can ask for a description of a coffee mug from Starbucks and asking AI to give like a marketing description of it. And we're going to actually do one of these examples here over the next couple of cutting over when we go into ChatGPT proper, which I think was going to help everyone out a lot with one of my favorite ways of prompting. Anonymous attendee asks, does AI have a conscious sort of intelligence? I would say no. I would say it's very process driven, process oriented. It can definitely take on human emotions and human feelings, but in no way is it a replacement for the face to face contact and human contact that you experience every single day. And so, how do you use AI prompting effectively? Use it as a partner, you give it a role, you tell it to act as if it is something, or you give it a task, or you give it a sort of a context of what it is that you want it to say, and you also give it a certain structure. So one of my favorite ways of using AI is to ask AI to interview me, right? And with that interview, give me an outcome for what it is that I want to do. And so one of the things that you're going to be able that we're going to show you later is how you can use AI as a one-by-one step interview processor so that it can help you get to the choice that you want to get it to. And it works whether you are looking for something to eat, whether you want to plan your next vacation, or whether you're strategizing your job search. You can also take your AI to the next level, right? So some of the things that I think are really important. One of the things that are important is creating a custom GPT. Custom GPTs are what I describe as instances of ChatGPT that conform to a specific set of rules and needs. So you can create a ChatGPT, for example, that helps you build your personal brand and helps you write LinkedIn posts every single day. And so that's one piece there. Another one is generating N8N workflows with AI. And so I'm going to just show you what N8N is from the front side because I haven't created any workflows myself. But this is something that we're going to be looking for and going into as we head into the new year. Rakshan asks, do you have a startup, Albert? If so, how do you use AI there? So Albert's List is kind of my startup. And the way I use AI is I use AI to turn videos like these recordings into YouTube shorts for our YouTube channel. I use it to I use it to create social media postings. I use it to write event descriptions. I use it to write nurture emails. So if you get multiple emails from me after a particular webinar that we're promoting or so forth, it works well that way. And we also use AI sometimes to create imagery, especially YouTube thumbnails. And so the next thing I want to take to the next level with N8N is I want to automate my meetup posting process. I want to be able to automate the way I reply to folks, especially for high-level conversations, and use it that way. If you have a business, I would love to know in the webinar chat or in your job search how you're using AI more and more so that you can get your time back. So the next thing I want to talk about before we get to the bottom of the hour here is how do you get started on AI, right? I think that learning and listening to me talk to you for 45 minutes is one thing, but I think that being able to get started on it and execute is another that can definitely help you out a ton. And so here are a couple of webinars that we have coming up where we're going to be talking about AI at some level. Some of these are webinars and conversations. Other ones of these are workshops and so forth. And so I encourage you to join us for each and every one of these. And so the first one is a week from today. And so whether you're in California or not, I encourage you to join us. California is the fourth largest economy in the world now. And so what happens here in California is consequential for everyone else around the world. And so who are we speaking to? We're talking to Fiona Ma. She's the California State Treasurer and the Lieutenant Governor candidate for our 2026 gubernatorial election. And so I'm going to be talking to her about the investments that we are making into the AI world and what we're doing in here in the state of California and what her plans. And in addition to that, if you are looking for a job in California, what types of jobs you should be looking for as the state invests into it. And so in these next couple of slides, the QR code will show up here, and it'll take you to that Eventbrite page, which you can subscribe to on your phone. Mia asks, how many subscribers are you getting? How do you market your product? Are you business facing? Do you host your service on AWS? Or do you have local GPUs? So I would say that Albertsons is a service-based business. We market our product through webinars like this. We face definitely towards job seekers and individuals. And we don't have anything on AWS, and we don't have anything that's GPU focused. So yeah. Cool. Thanks so much for sharing what you're doing, Trevor, with AI. That's awesome. Okay, so cool. The next thing that I want to share is a webinar that we're hosting, a workshop that we're hosting on how to strategize and execute your job search in 1 hour with ChatGPT. One of the things that we've learned over the last couple of years is that people are taking a little bit extra time in their job search. And unfortunately, the job search goes faster than ever these days because the market moves faster than ever. And so what we're going to do is we're going to strategize and execute your job search in 1 hour with ChatGPT prompts. And we're going to bring a volunteer up from the audience, and we're going to prepare your resume. We're going to build your network. We're going to build your personal brand. We're going to prepare for your interviewing and so much more. And so I'm going to show you over a series of prompts, and we're not just going to use ChatGPT. We're going to run the same exact things on Grok and Gemini at once as well. And so, yes. So Matan, if you want to volunteer, please message me, send me an email in the way that I probably sent you a message somewhere, and I will have you on for that Tuesday. All right, Grant asks, how do you use AI for assisting people with career direction when people are unsure of what decision to do next? So Grant, that's a great question, and I'm actually going to go ahead and do that in the demo here. We're going to ask ChatGPT to interview us, and I'm going to actually go ahead and show you how that's done in a few moments here. And you can use that interviewing concept for multiple different things that you want to do. Cool. All right. In addition to that, we also have our on-demand AI courses. You can learn AI in your own time and apply it in your daily life. We have also courses that exist on building custom GPTs, building a side hustle, or just basic AI. Yes, so whoever reaches out to me first, I will go ahead and have you as that volunteer for the event, and we will continue talking. Rakshan asks, what AI would you think is the best to use? The best to use depends on what your use case is. So ChatGPT is good for general stuff. I would say Claude has been really good for coding, among other things. So it really depends on what it is that you're trying to do at the end of the day. I just put my email in, and we'll have whoever emails me first. I also have our free weekly AI newsletter, or at least the newsletter I try to send weekly. And I call it Last Week Tonight Meets Your AI Future. What I do is I include prompts, new technologies to test out. I talk about the AI progression in your career opportunities and threats. And I just share all the important things that are going on every single week as it relates to what's happening in the AI world. And so Feel free to sign up through that QR code there, and that's an opportunity um, for us to stay connected and share what kind of technologies that we're working on here. We also have a large calendar for 2026 that I'm trying to also put together now. And so there's a lot of different ways, whether you're in person or whether you're online, to engage with us. Um, we have an in-person panel on AI's impact towards job seekers coming up on February 3rd, 2026. We're also going to talk about how to build a side hustle with AI in 2026 in January. Um, on our calendar, and this is probably going to be February 8th, we're going to teach you how to build an AI agent for your career. I want you to be able to figure out what that looks like, building an agent and having an agent job search on your behalf. We're going to then talk about end-to-end workflows at some point. That's TBD because I want to learn it for myself and share it back with all of you. And then we're going to bring back our faceless YouTube channel, Side Hustle, and we may also throw in TikTok in there as well on how you can use AI to build those faceless channels and really grow side hustles or build your personal brand along the way. And if you have any ideas as well of what you would like to learn in the AI world, we have a lot of experts in our network. We have a lot of people who have built things or are in the process of building things, and we are here to engage them so that they can engage you, so that you can become the most resilient possible in your AI skill building. And so with that, we're going to go into how to use AI as your demo, and we're going to talk about a few things. Darren asks, can you please send a replay of the last Faceless YouTube webinar? So that one was paid, so reach out to me in my email above, and we can talk about how to get that over to you. And so what we're going to show you next here, we're actually going to go and do a few things in AI over the next little bit. I think one of the most important things is obviously being able to practice the use of AI because there is so much going on in the world now. And so the first thing I really want to go into is we have ChatGPT here. And so some of you were asking earlier about how to use AI to help you figure out your next career move if you have absolutely zero idea why. And so the first thing I actually want to do here, and this is going to be sort of a as we go here with it. So here's what we have, right? So if you are somebody who may be out of work right now and you're not sure what to do next with your job search, one of the things that you can do is you can interview ChatGPT. Yes. So so I'll just go here, right? So I use ChatGPT for shopping. And so what happened last night, we were having a party and I was looking to shop for a plunger and I have my phone on me and I was basically asking ChatGPT what the best plunger was for my situation. And so I definitely use ChatGPT as a shopping buddy. And right, so whether you're going shopping for a plunger or you're buying a gift for a friend, ChatGPT is actually really great for this. And Joshua, no worries. I think this is actually really important to put out there because in the past, right, we would go on Google and we would type best plunger. And we would get a million different results that are very disjointed and not all that great. With ChatGPT, I use it to, buy what I need to buy for myself, and I get a lot more commentary on what I'm doing here. And so, especially, right, if you're going to go do Black Friday this week, if you're going to buy a gift for your niece, for your special loved one, this is something that is incredibly important. And so this method here that I'm going to show you next is incredibly important. So what we can do here is, and I'm going to go ahead and share this prompt, is some of you might have mentioned that you don't know what to do next in your job search, or that you're not entirely sure how to conduct what it is that you want to do for anything. And so what this looks like is a few ways. Is this. So number one, you can say, hello. Oh, there we go. My keyboard does work. Hello. I recently lost my job as a product marketing manager. And you can substitute in there the job that you are currently working in. And you can say, I am not really sure what to do next and need some help. And so you can usually end this one-shot prompt here, but the better way to go about it is to really give AI to give you a structure for giving you the output that you want. And Grant, I think you have a question here that's how do you manage AI slop where it just spits out material and we can get lost in the content? Are there tips for organizing ChatGPT threads and outputs? So you can. I have folders and projects here, custom GPTs, and then all the bunch of chats that I have here. So getting it into organization means that you also need to wrangle in ChatGPT, or if you want, we can do this similarly in Claude in Gemini. So I'm going to just run this in Gemini concurrently, right? And so in Gemini, I'm just going to go ahead and upload the same resume file that I had going on there earlier. And what I'm going to say is, um, can you interview me one question at a time to help me figure out what my current values are, um, current industry trends, skills and strengths, and hiring companies so that I can get refocused on my job search. And with this specific one as well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to ask for web search here. And I don't think Google Gemini really asks for anything in this situation. So what I'm going to go ahead and do is I'm going to go ahead and copy this. I'm going to go ahead and paste this here. And we're going to go ahead and hit enter on both of these. And here is the prompt that I use. And what you're going to do is over through this entire interviewing process is that ChatGPT will ask you 10 to 12 questions. And we're going to do this same kind of thing in our workshop, but we're also going to go deeper on interviewing and so forth. And so what this allows ChatGPT to do for you, number one, is uh, is it allows it to organize the way it responds to you. Because if you say just interview me, it's going to give you all 15 or 12 questions at once. So you're going to ask it to interview you one question at a time, and based on that answer, it's going to go ahead and build out an entire profile of who you are and what you are and so forth. And so, for example, it's just asked me, looking over your career so far, what two things do you value most in a job? Autonomy and decision making, etc. Let's just say I value job stability. Let's say a growing industry and supportive leadership. And right, your answer is going to differ on each and every one of these. But that's basically what I typed. So you're going to keep going with this, and you're going to go ahead and type through until you get to the very end. And I'm going to leave all of you to putting that exercise together for yourself. Because every one of your answers is going to be different, and the way that it comes out is going to be different in terms of yours. Gemini is also going to give you a question by question response too. And so if you have access to both types of AI, I encourage you to see what kind of response you get out of it. Grok is also free. On the other hand, right, depending on where you are with your holiday season, you might also ask, "Hello." You might also say, "I am going to be going on vacation for the final 2 weeks of December 2025." You can then say, "Interview me one question at a time uh, on what I like to do during my vacations, where to go, and any other questions that you believe would help me make the best choice possible." Um, and then the other thing you could say is output me a table with the following. And this is how you can do your interview preparation as well. You can say column A, vacation destination. Column B, you can say total budget required. Column C, you can say maybe activities I can do. And column D, you can say fussiness. And you can say, I currently live near San Francisco as my closest airport. Consider this when interviewing me, right? And so this whole entire notion here is to really give ChatGPT as much information to work with so that you can get the specific answer that you want. And the more specific your answer gets, the better the outcomes will be. So let's just say me and my girlfriend are traveling, and we'll see if we can speed run this a little bit, right? And so let's see. I want to go to a relaxing beach resort, okay? And then let's see, total budget, let's just say $1,500. And this is easier to do than the job search one just because it's easier to just kind of answer this. Let's say moderate fuss. Um, let's see what else. Oh, wow, it's going to give me a couple more questions. So, food and drink are included. I am open to nearby international travel. If you don't click on the web button, it may not give you updated items that you really want to see. So in 6 questions, it's given me Cancun, Puerto Vallarta, and Cabo. I mean, it's not the most creative thing, but it's given me at least a budget that I can work with, and it's made some assumptions, and it can then give you 5 specific resorts to work on. So if you think about it in this way, right, you can say, I'm looking to buy a gift for my aunt, my uncle, somebody special in my life. Interview me 1 question at a time based on their hobbies and interests, based on things that they like in 2025, what it is that they might want for Christmas. And so you're going to give, get 5 different answers from that, and it's going to give you, perhaps the best deals possible. Um, and so that's, I think, the one way that you can use ChatGPT at least to be super effective in what you want to do. All right, the next thing I want to show you is what we've been doing here the last couple of years is with Replit. Replit is one of these web development platforms that uses generative AI these days. It's part of the category of tools like a Base 44 or a Lovable that allows you to create websites or design different apps or even games or even automations that help you do what you need to do. And so in the past, I'm just going to go ahead and show you what I have here, is I've built websites that I need to obviously send into production at some juncture. This is me creating a website for Albert's List, for example. And you can have it as complicated or as simple as what you have here, right? So for me, it's I've uploaded images, I've uploaded descriptions along the way, and I've also uploaded like in the media, and I'm meaning to like integrate Eventbrite into this so that I can truly create website related items. And so you can do this as well with things that um, really showcase what it is that you want to do, whether it's your own personal brand website or something else, right? So if I wanted to say, uh, just say, create a landing page for a professional, for let's just say a taco stand in um, let's say Monterey, California, right? Even something as simple as that, it's going to go ahead and it's going to create this website for you, and it's going to work through it and ask you for the details and so forth. And so I'm hoping in the next 8 minutes or so that as we build this together, we'll let it do its thing, and then we'll go check out Zapier, or we'll go check out N8N to show you that. So it's already giving you this idea. And what we're going to go ahead and we're going to just go ahead and design just the design because it's important here to just have this built in like this. And if you ever want to also publish your website, uh, Replit has all the files here, and you can barely just go up to the dots here and say download as a zip file and upload this to a local hosting folder that you might have in your preferred hosting area, and then update the website as things go. So this is one way to consider what it is that you want to create. Any thoughts, questions so far? We're going to go ahead and actually have this taco website build itself as we go on. So the next thing I want to really show you is N8N. So N8N is actually really wild to me. Um, okay, so your question is content and thought leadership are the currency of the realm now. What's the best loudspeaker we can use? So the best loudspeaker when it comes to marketing, Matan, is always going to be wherever your audience is going to be. And what I recommend is if you're somebody who is trying to create a bigger loudspeaker for your life and what you want to do, is I recommend you actually create a GPT for yourself. So what I have here is I'm going to go over to my GPTs real quick before we go to that. And what we have here is we have my brain on AI. And so creating a custom GPT is pretty simple because it allows you to create different rules and create different things that make it easy for you. Are my files public? So this is not a, well, this is actually a public GPT. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and copy the link here. Um, and I'm going to go ahead and paste that into here. And I'm going to go back in and I'm going to show you what this GPT contains. So what I've done is, and ChatGPT will go ahead and allow you to be interviewed. But you can see in here in the configuration is that this GPT is designed to analyze and replicate my writing style and tone, and it'll adapt and prioritize to my voice based on what I want. So what I have done here is I have actually gone ahead and I have copy and pasted all of a few of actually some items that I have written in the past so that it has my voice. And so I don't have any recommended model, but what I'm gonna think here is I'm gonna probably set it to ChatGPT 5.1, and I'll go ahead and update that here. And so what you can do here is you can say when in terms of the test is I want to write a LinkedIn post about I'm not really even sure. Let's say N8 and I want to highlight my experience in using it so far and envision this as one of the future building blocks. Make my post 200 words or less and be inquisitive in tone, right? So this is this is your opportunity to know like, okay, how do I think about something? How do I feel about something? And then using my writing style to go through about that, right? So it wrote the post that it wrote here, and it helps it go a lot quicker. And if you have a post scheduler somewhere around here, it can help you get that writing out a lot quicker too. So I encourage you, if you have access to ChatGPT, or if you're in Google Gemini here, what you can also do, even though it's not necessarily project style yet, is to go ahead and upload your various writing pieces, and then go ahead and tell Gemini to create that. So N8N is a workflow, and I'll go into that in a really quick moment here. N8N as a workflow and a custom GPT is something that you can use for like writing and something to adjust to what it is that you can do. So our taco website is actually now complete. That's what that loud sound was. And so it went ahead and decided on all these fonts and all of those kinds of things here. And it literally built this website in 5 minutes. So um, I have, none of these things are truly real, But all of these things are basically something that you can stand up in 5 minutes or less. And obviously, you're going to come here, you're going to make edits to what it is that your offerings are. And you can do that by just clicking on keep iterating on design. And you can type in, like, hey, we don't offer vegetarian tacos. And it'll go ahead and it'll delete the vegetarian tacos piece. And then if you really want to just use Replit for all of this, you can hit publish and it'll go ahead and it'll go into a cloud computing instance that Replit has gone ahead and stood up. And then you can have your website up in literally 2 to 3 minutes based upon that, right? And so um, all of these are, fascinating in its own way, right? So you have all of this here, and it's really a chance to have everybody become a web developer, but even more so to that, go to market faster and really focus on that execution piece. So this is Replit for you, and this is something that I think is $180 a year that can work out really well. You can also build your website in Gemini. So if you're looking for, I would like to build a landing page for a boat rental business in, I don't know, let's say in San Francisco. Give me some code to start with and a visual representation. Right. And so if you go ahead and you copy that in there, it's going to give you some of that code, and you can go ahead and you can copy this into the places that you need to copy it into, and then go from there. And so this is also what Gemini can do as well along the way. You don't necessarily have to think any further. And I think Google is going to give me a concept of what this landing page can look like. Okay, so I don't really know. I don't really know what we can do with that, but that could be the style of it. And so, if you copy and paste this, you can definitely open that up into a file here. Okay, so you were asking about. Okay, so Grant was saying, how much time do you usually allow to learn a tool like Replit? I use Squarespace, and I am thinking, why would you use that? So you would use Replit if you really had no skills whatsoever and you really wanted to get started quickly. And the thing about Replit that kind of makes it fantastic is that you really don't have to think too much, right? Like I literally typed 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 13 words over two prompts, and it already got me this far, right? So if you're as simple as a taco shop, then you really are doing some amazing things at this juncture. Um, and so it works out pretty well at the end of the day here. And so I would say that, for 180 bucks a year before you're hosting, it's going to be a lot cheaper than hiring someone abroad to do this for you. Um, so yeah. Okay. So the last thing I want to show you is workflows. Workflows, I think, have a lot of AI infused into them, and there's a couple of things these days that really, I know, right? It is pretty cool how quick it works. I think that this makes probably a lot of the simpler web designers out there a lot more afraid of where their job is going to go and what they have to do. But for everyday people like me who do not have a web design background, this is actually really amazing because it allows me to become a lot more effective in the type of work that I do. So, this is it's pretty awesome. Okay, so the final thing that I wanted to showcase here is both Zapier and N8N. I think, so Zapier and N8N are workflow apps that allow you to um, really get meaningful in the types of things that you can automate your life in. So I'm going to show you a really simple Zap that I created on Peloton the other day. So I'm part of a men's circle, and what we do every single week or every single day is we share and check in on our disciplines. One of my disciplines is to get on my Peloton bike and bike every single day. And sometimes I get on my bike and I get off my bike and I forget to report. And so what I've done is I've gone ahead and I've used and linked a Strava, the Strava application, because there's an API there. And every time a new athlete activity happens from my particular account, I then send an email to the person that I am a discipline buddy with. And so it goes to this email, and the subject is this particular subject. And then there's sort of a body in this email that I can put together. And so this saves me from having to text my friend to tell me that I've done what I've done. And this is a simple two step discipline. And really what I can also do in there in terms of what I do next is I can also probably add in another piece of this that shows that also then perhaps records this run into into a Google spreadsheet. So I might say, let's say Google Sheets, and then I'm going to say choose an action. I'm going to say, let's see, I'm not going to create a spreadsheet, but I'm going to create a spreadsheet row. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to log in to my Google account here. And what I'm going to do is, you're seeing this on, not seeing this on the other window, is I'm going to go ahead. The account has been selected. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to create something in like this Google Drive. I'm going to create a new spreadsheet. And I don't necessarily have a spreadsheet yet here. But what I'm going to then do is say the email will be sent, and then a new row will be created in the spreadsheet. So that will allow it to really record it, and after every day I can see what my progress is. I'm going to go ahead and delete this right now because I won't create this until later. But this allows you to create a, what do you want to call it, is to create an accountability machine that really lets people know what it is that you're doing and where you are with things. When it comes to N8N, it takes it up to another different level, right? So there are a lot of N8N workflows and AI templates that have been developed with N8N over the last couple of months. And this is actually going to be something that we'll talk about in a future webinar. But you can do things like generate an AI viral video with Veo 3 and then automatically upload it to TikTok. Um, you can talk to your Google Sheets using ChatGPT 5. What else can you do? You can chat with a database using AI. And so, like, for example, this generate an AI video, you can use this for free. And what it does is it creates the idea for you, generates the video, and then creates that which you can then publish that video automatically to TikTok and then post it into a Google spreadsheet. And so if you're wondering whether people sleep anymore, the truth of the matter is that they do sleep, but they also use workflows like this to get things done faster, respond to you automatically, and so forth. And so if you're wondering, can I do this for my job search? The answer is an unequivocal yes. And we're going to teach you how to do this, and we're also going to share this as something that you can use in a future job search bootcamp. And so that's all opportunities that are coming up. And it swims in my mind, and I hope it swims in yours as well. So Albert's List will be developing commercial N8N workflows that are going to help you become a better job seeker using all of the things that I've ever learned in my mind when it comes to job searching so that you can get that job faster. And so that's something that I'm going to be working on here in the next few months. And we're really going to hopefully try and put a dent in how you job search and become the best job searcher that you can possibly be. Right? And so you have one of these other templates, right? Generate and auto post AI videos to social media with Veo 3, extract text from a PDF file, which is pretty simple. And so yeah, there's just a bunch of different types of like things that you can do, right? So there's over 4,000 of them here. You can have an AI personal assistant that works with Google Sheets, Slack, and a manual trigger. There's what else are we seeing here, right? SEO keywords, track those. Manage your Gmail, right? And so all of these are going to make you as efficient as you can possibly be. And so I don't know how safe your data is in here. I'm presuming that there's something there. So N8N charges you on the basis of how many you run. So I would say if you run so if you run 2,500 workflow executions, it's $20 a month. And then if you get up to a certain level, then it's really just kind of at a new place. And so to me, this is probably worth it because instead of having to do things manually, you can really change the way you execute your business. So we're at the top of the hour here. I want to thank everyone for joining me today. I don't know, are there any other questions or any thoughts from folks as we conclude here? You can also run N8N locally in your computer. That is correct. But if you have things that you need to do online, then it's going to be a little bit different. So, yeah. Yeah, absolutely. Okay, all right. How do you start to think in workflows and then choose the right model? So, Grant, that's another one, right? So, we were talking a little bit earlier about having ChatGPT interview you. So, what you're going to type, and I'm just going to type this here, is I am looking to automate parts of my day-to-day workflow with N8N. Interview me one question at a time about my tasks across my day job, side hustle, family life, and personal life, and determine what N8N workflows can help me, right? And then you can have it output it to you in a various different ways. So again, right, if you don't know, that's another way that you can go about figuring out that answer. All right. Yes, I can figure out how to save that chat and send it to you, Michael. We'll figure it out. Okay, cool. So I'm going to go ahead and conclude it for here. We're going to follow up with you in an email. I hope you had fun, and I hope that you take some of this into your holiday gatherings this year. If you have somebody who comes up to you and says, "Hey, I have no idea whether I want to go back to school next year," or "I have no idea what to get your mother for Christmas," whip out ChatGPT, whip out Gemini, and ask it to interview you or ask it to interview both. And then, we'll go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and upload the webinar chat, I think, into a Google Doc and just share it with all of you that way. So, yeah, cool. Okay. All right. So if there's no other questions, we have so many other webinars coming up through the end of the year, and our 2026 January calendar, I'm excited to report, is also now live. And so I look forward to seeing you all soon. I'm very grateful for your joining Albert's List on Monday of Thanksgiving week, and we look forward to serving you again. All right. Chat with you all soon, and goodbye.